Good evening and welcome to the Cover One Buffalo podcast. You are joining your host, Greg Tompsett, along with my partner in crime, Aaron Quinn. Aaron, how you feeling?
Well, I got a Uncle Jumbo's orange cream soda right here, and I'm going to crack it because the Buffalo Bills have just defeated, not revenge, but they've just taken care of business in Kansas City, and they've defeated the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead 24-20, Greg Tompsett. We're going to drink to that, my friend.
Pour that victory, Uncle Jumbo's. Oh, unbelievable.
Can you hear that effervescent orange?
So I discovered today I'm out of Uncle Jumbo's.
Oh, geez, Greg. We gotta talk.
I was nervous.
Yeah.
Oh, what an incredible game. Absolutely crazy back and forth. We have so much to talk to. It's unbelievable. Help us out here. You just jumped in here. Smash that like button.
Yeah, please.
Hit that like button. Press it real hard. Press it with your nose.
Yep.
Press it with your earlobe. You can press it with
your
thumb.
Share this with people that you think would like to come in and talk some post game.
Oh, this is the time to share everything that we have going on here. It's unbelievable. We're so excited. Yes, and you know, it's crazy. Everything that we, went back and forth. There was so much emotion in this game, and we talked about it. Like, ultimately we can step back now. It was, it won't matter when we get to January. Like, who won this game won't be the difference. But we now gave ourselves, just like Deion Pawkins here is talking about, we now own a game and a half lead on them through the rest of this season, that game can be in Orchard Park in Buffalo, that we're going to be able to host the AFC Championship game or whenever we play them again, but be able to have it here in Buffalo and be able to go that way. So, this was a game that they knew they wanted. They wanted to be able to wrap it up. It wasn't pretty by either team. There was some ugly play by either team. It was a pretty horribly refereed game, a ton of missed calls both directions, and just crazy that it ended the way it did. I love it that it ended both ways by plays being made by Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen finds Dawson Knox in the end zone. Taron Johnson picks it off. They made plays to do it. There was a lot of stuff that happened with the referees down the stretch. I like it that it ended on football players making plays.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because I think there will be a lot of discussion about some of the stuff that happened in terms of what was called, what wasn't called, how things were called.
Both fan bases have a list.
Sure. And I think a lot of it, when we look back at it, will offset in a lot of ways. There's definitely a lot of things that if the game was going the other way tonight, I'd be yelling at about here on this post-game show. But ultimately, I think those offset. And the thing about this game that was really cool was that we really didn't get necessarily in that postseason game was each team got a chance, right? The Bills went down, scored, and there was clearly plenty of time when you're playing against Patrick Mahomes for them to go down and score, and they got a chance, and the Bills actually stopped them this time. And so this game ended in exactly the fashion you want, not necessarily how you or I predicted this game to go. I think, like you said, a little bit sloppier than I think we both anticipated, a little bit more of a defensive chess match than I think we anticipated. But I think lived up to the billing of these are the best two teams in the NFL, even with the refs trying to destroy this game. Ultimately, it came down to big players making big time plays in big time spots in this game. And there'll be a ton of highlights from this one. A great regular season win. It's your point. I think it will matter in January that, this one, if the Bills continue to take care of their own business, but Sean McDermott says all the time, we need to work and take care of the things that we need to take care of. And this was the biggest one if you were trying to get home field advantage. And so getting this one, man, is the biggest check mark in the regular season. And now the rest is just tightening up and take care of business the rest of the way.
Yeah, and we're going to get into, we'll go through the quarter rundown, but we want to do some overall numbers here. I got to tell you, Josh Allen deserves plenty of credit. Stephon Diggs had a great game. Von Miller, right here, our man CS making this statement. Von Miller worth every penny. The stat line says 2 sacks and 2 tackles for a loss. I cannot wait to see how many pressures he had. It felt like he was moving Patrick Mahomes like every other snap. And to have the
Taron snap, the Taron interception.
Well, yes. So he has that critical drive ending sack on the third down to get them off the field when then the Bills come back down and score the game winning touchdown to take the lead, then come back down. Because we'll talk about this when we get to the fourth quarter rundown. A minute 04 left. I felt the same way you guys did. Yeah. I had the same anxiety you guys did. He got there. He forced a bad throw. Matt Milano was there to not let Patrick Mahomes come up and get rid of the ball.
Almost got there the play before, too.
Yes.
And they ended up running him out for no little gain. Actually, he ended up coming back up on that play, just a constant motor. Interested to see his snap count, too, how that ended up for the game.
Yeah.
Coming out here.
I had people chirping in my mentions about, Von Miller off the field on that play. He was on the field a ton. He easily played the most snaps of anybody on the defensive line. Yeah. He was on the field a ton. I'm curious to see what the number is, but I'm going to guess it was 65 to 70%, maybe even north of 70. He was on the field a lot.
Saw him a lot. Yeah, and like you said, moving Mahomes off his spot. And I think that's probably sort of to your point, in the Twitter spaces we did with Chris Kepner and some of the other guys from Cover One. And really, you talked about it too. Matchup of the game. That defensive line really did have Mahomes, even though he's so annoyingly slippery and was able to get out and extend a lot of plays. And they did have some success on offense. Ultimately, the bend but don't break mentality of that Bills team stopped them just enough times and was frustrating just enough times that it ended up working. So it wasn't clean on either side of the ball, but I think they definitely had something that was frustrating Patrick Mahomes. And it was more of a game of patience today.
Hey, we'll get to some more of those as we go through the rundown. Some other high-level games. We talked about it. The last couple matchups, they had found a way to shut down Stephon Diggs. That wasn't the case today. The man has 10 catches for 148 yards and a touchdown. Was there for every critical stop or every critical play that they needed to be made.
It was like a sneaky, quiet, really productive day, right? Like, because you saw him a lot, but it wasn't. I mean, he did have the big touchdown, but the big play, but it wasn't. It just didn't seem like a big Stephon Diggs breakout game. Yeah. And it should have been probably celebrated more considering what happened to him the last time they played.
Oh, yeah. And you could tell that they were a little more afraid of Gabe Davis in this play, giving him a little more even-handed. Davis still got them one-on-one in coverage and went down. We'll talk about that one here.
Undefeated versus Air.
Oh,
we always say in the summer, like, oh, these routes versus Air don't matter. But I guess, I mean...
Yeah, if the defense is going to guard you like Air, I guess it counts.
Absolutely.
We'll give some love to Devin Singletary as the show goes. And again, Josh Allen today, 27 of 40, 329 yards. The two quarterbacks were incredibly similar, but you look at a couple critical spots. Josh Allen, 27 of 40, Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 40. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, 329 yards, Patrick Mahomes, 338. Both of them 8.2 and 8.5 yards per throw. Josh Allen has 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. Patrick Mahomes, 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. It was going to come down to these kind of plays in those critical moments. They technically put the fumble on Josh Allen. That fumble was on Isaiah McKenzie. He needed to be ready for that ball. So it technically looks like Josh Allen had a turnover. I certainly will not be counting that as a turnover for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But anything else on your overall thoughts on this game before we start going through the rundown?
I thought a big win defensively in this game for both coordinators was that both offenses were 4 for 11 on third downs. And KC only ended up going for 1 fourth down. They were 1 for 1. Bills were 1 for 3 on the short yardage fourth down stuff. So huge day for the defensive coordinators, in my opinion, stopping 2 of the most prolific offenses in the NFL right now on third downs. Like, to be able to put up those kinds of numbers in this big of a game, that's where games are decided. So good on them, because I know stopping the Bills on third down is a really tall task, and looking ahead at the Chiefs game and stopping them in some of those situations, like to get them on 4 for 11 is like a pretty big deal. And I think that shows up pretty big in this game. So hats off to both coordinators. Spags pulled out a lot more. We talked pregame. He
made Josh way more uncomfortable.
Man, I thought he would have to be forced to be conservative with some of the DBs that they were playing with. He did get burnt a couple times in the game, but really, when you look at the score and how close this game was and how aggressive he was, I thought if you would have told me they were going to be that aggressive, and I don't know what the blitz numbers were, but if they were going to blitz Josh as much as I saw, I would have thought this game would be a 3-score blowout. But
I would have expected more than 24 points. I would have expected more than 24 points.
Crazy.
Sure. So let's dive right in. Go through our normal rundown here. We'll start right out with the first quarter. Weird first quarter. There were 2.5 drives. The Bills drive right down the field. Pretty smooth as they're going through. Gets nice play to Gabe Davis. It seemed like every handoff to Devin Singletary was going for 8, 9, 10 yards over and over and over again. Couple easy plays to Diggs, and it seemed like it was just going to be easy all day.
Yeah.
Then they go in, get into the red zone, at the 13-yard line, do the little read option with McKenzie, and Josh keeps it. And then as McKenzie flares out, sees him open, dumps the ball to him, and McKenzie's not expecting the ball.
What are you doing, Greg? You're out there, and I don't know what is being coached. I don't know what the intention of the play is, but my assumption of this is if you are out in that position and you're going out an option, the number one option is that you're going to get the ball, or that you have to be prepared for it. And to be totally not even paying attention seems crazy. Even if you think Allen's keeping that, you still play to the end of that play, the ball could come your way at any point, man. And it just seems like a reoccurring theme for me. I hate to pile on somebody in a bad moment, but it seems often in the moments where you need it the most that the wrong plays being made with limited touches for Isaiah.
Yeah, it's, his name's going to come up again. Don't worry. So, going through there.
That's also real quick. That's a tough one, Greg, because sorry to interrupt you there. You're going 9 plays, 60 yards, taking 5 minutes off the clock to come away with nothing. Those are brutal. And luckily we'll talk about this other drive for KC because a weird game to start in this first quarter, but it's rare that a team puts that kind of drive together, especially teams like this, and come away with no points.
Yeah. Well, speaking of rare, the Kansas City Chiefs turn around, go directly down the field with a 14-play, 80-yard drive. The first drive, the Bills
took almost 6 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes. The Chiefs take 6.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Same idea. Constantly moving down the field over and over again. Can't even get them into a third down.
No.
Then we finally get into a third down, get them stopped, get it to fourth down. Patrick Mahomes scrambles, and then goes through. Looks like it's just a matter of time before they're going to convert. And Kaiir Elam goes up, and I don't know that we gave him a ton of credit on that interception last week because
it was a garbage timey.
It was, and it was not a great throw by Kenny Pickett. So good on him that he got it. This play was Patrick Mahomes. This was him having great coverage. This was him going up over a $10 million a year receiver that they paid to come
dealing at the moment.
Yes, who was crushing us.
Yeah.
And he went up and took that ball away.
For sure.
That was the biggest play Kaiir Elam's made in his NFL career so far.
Yeah, I honestly, when we go back through this game, I think you'll see it's a bit of a theme of being aggressive at the point of attack and at the ball, going after it, and ends up kind of sealing the game later on the way the Bills DBs were attacking the ball. So good on him, man. I can take, if he's going to be a guy that gives up receptions like he did in that Steelers game, if he's making plays, if this is a guy that you can count on for a pick every couple of weeks, sign me up. With this type of defense, and defense is not going to give up the big plays over the top, if you can have the guy to go take the ball away, that's sort of like adding the Von Miller to the defensive line. You're getting that guy that can close out your games. The Bills didn't really have, outside of Trey White, another guy that was just going to be aggressive and take the ball away. I think that's what people were frustrated by with Levi. And so if Elam can give you that, I think that's going to edge him out as that cornerback too going forward, maybe outside of this year, if he becomes a ball hawk in these situations. So looks the part so far. Love to see that, man. That's a big time play. Third down's a big play in the red zone on the road to really keep the Bills in the game. And again, like you said, I think they said in the broadcast that was the first time that two teams drove down to the red zone on their opening drives and both ended with 0 points.
First time it was 2 turnovers in the red zone.
Yeah, 2 turnovers in the red zone on your opening drive. And to think of these two powerhouse offensive teams, it's so crazy what goes on in these KC Bills games, man. They're just breaking all the weirdest records.
Oh, it's just crazy. Yeah. So that technically ended the first quarter on the next drive.
So fast too.
And it was them moving along. The Bills then again going the whole way down the field, starting at the 20 because of the turnover in the end zone, the touchback. Big one to Diggs right off the bat. Feel like we have something going. Josh gets a scramble, gets a couple of things going. Get it down to where we're at the KC 22 as the quarter ends. Pretty good chance to get things rolling here. Another handoff to Devin Singletary, and we're down to the KC 10. Feel like it's just a matter of time. Boom, we see a flag. This one, as we go back, when looking at the egregious holding calls that weren't made, this was a super ticky-tack call on Gabe Davis. He did have his arms at the outside frame of the DB. He didn't pull jersey. He didn't turn him. He was just blocking outside the frame. It was a super sketchy call, and whatever. It is what it is.
I will say, I do think when we go back and look at the refs game, they'll be offset. My thing is stay consistent, right? If you're going to call the game terribly, at least keep it level field. I don't walk away. Maybe it's because my favorite team won, but I'm not walking away from this game feeling like they got screwed out of a couple too. So keeping those in mind when we're mad at the refs, like later on, I think they got screwed a little bit more on that offensive pass interference. I would be livid now if Dawson Knox got called for that.
There was a couple, the tripping away. We got a couple more.
Yeah, we got a couple to get to. Yeah.
But as they go through, it put him in a weird spot. Put him back. It was like a weird one. It was a spot foul, so it put him back to 1st and 13. They then, had an incomplete pass. Tried to catch him on a draw to James Cook. That's one of those results-based plays that, if it works, you look super sneaky. I don't love running the ball in 2nd and 13. That's a really low opportunity for good things to happen. Like, unless you bust an 8 or 9 yard run, it's super hard. If you get a 5 yard run, which normally is a good play, James Cook got 4 yards,
4 yard,
3rd and 9. Like a 4 yard run is normally pretty good.
You'd like to get it like 3rd and 6 in that situation, though. You'd like to get half that yardage.
You got to pass.
Right?
You got to pass the ball. You got to pass the ball. So I don't know that Dorsey was amazing today. I heard some people were harder on him than necessary. I don't think he was on his best today.
We definitely have some better drives ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So, ultimately there puts him in 3rd and long. And then again,
our guy, man.
Isaiah McKenzie, it's right in his hands. It's right there.
Tough one.
Chance for an easy 1st down.
It's tough. This one's a really tough one for me too, because he definitely proved me wrong this summer, right, Greg?
Yes.
We showed up to training camp. Absolutely. He took the job right away, and I tried to play it off as Crowder's injury, but even when he returned, it was really just Isaiah's job. And he gets such a limited role, even when he's got this job in the offense, that there's still such variance and volatility when he touches the ball or when he is targeted, that I don't feel or have confidence. And it stinks because he's also, even as hard as I've been on him, he's the most likable guy. I don't want to sit here on a podcast and talk poorly about him because I like the guy, right?
Correct.
But when I see these types of moments, luckily this game goes the other way for the Bills. But if it doesn't, there's enough piles of moments that I can put on his shoulders that give me a really bad taste in my mouth and want to make me see a Khalil Shakir get more of those touches, right? Like that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it's it's something where I think variance is polite, because variance means
there's a lot of good
directions. Variance would indicate there's an equal amount of good as there is to bad.
True.
I don't know that there's even that close. I don't think I've seen many strong plays from him. So luckily, again, that's easy to nitpick in a win.
Yes.
We're certainly
go back to the drawing board.
In a great spot to be able to get things rolling here. They get the first points on the board. We're able to kind of get something underway and all right, it wasn't pretty, but okay, I'll take it.
We talked about it. We talked about it pre-game. Field goals are wins for the defense in this game.
It is absolutely. We'll talk about some of those the other way coming up.
Yep.
Then the Chiefs answer back here, probably their best drive of the game.
Dude,
all day sliced them straight down the field.
All day toxic differential. I think it ended up ending at 9. I'll have to go back and check. I think I lost count on some Bills ones, but all day right here, they start off this drive with a 25-yard to Kelsey. Every time the Bills got ahead in toxic, Casey was right there to start out a drive, doing the same exact thing back.
Yeah. And they're right there. These are the two best teams. These are the two most explosive offenses.
Yep.
The two best quarterbacks. This is what's going to happen. What can't happen, I can live with,
I think,
Patrick Mahomes slicing and dicing this. I can't live with Taron Johnson in Saran Neal especially.
So we gotta talk about Dime at some point. Why haven't you even tried to dunk on me with Dime? But
I like that they introduced some new things. I like that they were trying it. They did the 3-2-6.
I didn't like it. I don't agree.
3-2-6. They're going with 3 defensive linemen. They didn't take Milano or Edmonds off the field, except for one weird play. They did take Milano off. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. But they were then bringing in an extra DB for the defensive linemen. So I had proposed it before with a 3-3-5 instead of a 3-2-6, but I had been asking for this. I wanted this kind of look, because if you have defensive linemen who are getting home, a 3-man rush can work and you can get pressure when you still have a guy like Von Miller and Gregory Rousseau. but
and when
it
Milano
only
was on the
matters if
field,
guys are making tackles.
yeah, when Milano's on the field too, you saw them be able to spy with Milano, which was sort of something Eric brought up in sending waves of pressure. A spy essentially is a second wave of pressure after those three rush. If Mahomes moves at all, that spy can come up, and you saw that on a play where Milano came up as a spy, and they were in that dime look, and he came up and made a stop. I think Mahomes was still got some yardage, but it wasn't a typical scramble of his where it's an 8-9 yard for a first down and a slide. So that was the one play where I saw like, okay, wow, that sort of setup really worked. But overall, I felt frustrated in them doing something different because it felt to me, especially early in this game, in this first half, it felt like the Bills were pressing on both sides of the ball to try to get a tendency breaker or get them off square or get them to think of something differently because they've seen each other so often. I thought the Bills maybe overcoached the moment a little bit here in the first half.
I think it's fair. I don't think that's out of line at all. And that, there were some things, where.
But it worked, right? Nobody's scoring points either.
Yeah, and this one, the play call wasn't anything on this one. This was, you put in Saran Neal to be physical. Sometimes he was too physical, got called for defensive holding. Sometimes here, it was a patty cake. Like he didn't even make a tackle attempt. He went up and tried to like hit him and not wrap at all.
Yeah.
And then gives up a 42-yard touchdown with catch and run. And Juju Smith-Schuster is not some electric athlete. Like he's
for a TikTok creator, he's pretty good. He's pretty good at football.
So we're in a spot there. And then again, the Bills come back, answer with another big drive. They come down. This one was really a Devin Singletary drive, a lot of runs. Both Singletary and Josh Allen scrambling, nice conversion to Stephon Diggs, work their way down, and just
another
get this weird spot where they seem so dangerous throughout the entire field until you get to short yardage,
up, man.
And
again, you got Josh Allen. What are we doing? Why aren't we weaponizing Josh? Like we're willing to put him out there in so many situations, but the short yardage is, I think, where he excels the most. Like that is the threat. Get him moving in the red zone. Who's stopping that?
Yes, roll out, flood the alignment where he can either run or he can find a guy passing. Like I don't care if they know it's coming. We have Josh Allen. It's okay. And unfortunately, and so fortunately,
or even in this one wasn't this one where they like. I think it was Singletary had like a nice run to start off the goal line stance, and then they went pass.
Yes,
was this
Singletary had a 7-yard run from the 10 down to the 3, and then he never touched the ball
Singletary.
again.
What are we doing? Get him there. Get him a touch.
Get the same thing. Keep it 4 wide. Have it Josh in shotgun. Have Singletary there. Keep them spread out and do another inside handoff.
Yeah,
he's making the first guy miss.
Got to cute.
And then.
And
again,
McKenzie dropped
Now McKenzie drops another one. This one in the end zone for a touchdown.
Fourth down for a touchdown. Fell over himself.
Yes, tripped over his own feet. Easy soft spot in the zone. We saw Mecole Hardman do it the other direction. Mecole Hardman's not some all-pro receiver. Had a chance to make a play here. Missed it again.
People are gonna say they need to stop dancing on Instagram.
Yeah,
that's going to be the conversation.
Obviously, the reason he wasn't able to do it is because of the karaoke.
You got to ball out if you're going to do this stuff.
No,
people are going to come at you. They're going to come at you.
Now a weird stretch where it was multiple 3 and outs from both teams, and we didn't see a lot of that. Both teams trade a 3 and out, 3 straight punts, which is super weird with these teams. So, KC 3 and out, Buffalo 3 and out.
Yeah, this is where too. I think in this stretch is where the defensive coordinators really started to settle into this game. Yeah. There was one of these ones on a 3rd and 7. Spags brought some heat, and Josh looked almost sugar high. Like there was a moment where I was just like, "Oh man, like get rid of the ball or something," because it looked like he was totally flustered by what he was seeing, and you really saw the coordinator start to shine in this stretch of punts.
Yeah, and it gets down here where again, Casey has a chance to really take control of the game.
Yeah,
it's they're incomplete on first down, but they're right there in midfield, and Von Miller comes up with a huge sack. Knocks them back.
Gets it to a 3rd and 19.
Yeah, gets it to where it's not feasible, and then
this is where Milano gets that spy.
Yeah,
they had pressure all over, and Milano comes up and cleans up on that sack. Yeah. That's where that play happened. Fantastic set for Von and the defense there.
So the next one I'm torn Are you gonna pick this one as yours, or the game winner at the
Yeah,
end?
no. No, you go here.
Okay.
It was there for me. I
those
had
are
it
the
written
two.
down and I tweeted it out and it tagged Herr at the moment. But yeah.
Those are the two. So I'll just for good support for our lovely sponsors,
Run them
Herr,
twice.
we'll give them credit here twice and put up their banner. This one, we get the punt from Kansas City. Von Miller gets the sack. We're in a position where now we're going back plus a penalty. So we get back on, first down at the 3-yard line, or first it's at the 6, goes back halfway to the 3. Then we get another false start. So it moves them back to the 2. So now we're 1st and 12 from the 2 with an incompletion.
Yeah.
And
just
then a 1
cussing
yard
at my
loss.
TV. Cussing.
So 3rd and 13 at the Buffalo 1 with 1:18 left. At that moment, I'm sitting there just going, don't get a holding penalty in the end zone. Don't get a sack. Don't give up a safety. Just get rid of the ball. I don't even care if you do one of those stupid give up draws. Just don't give them 2 points here so we can try to get out of this stupid half. Instead, they go down. Josh Allen finds Gabriel Davis for 18 yards down the sideline on a ridiculous throw. Comes right back, one to Knox, and then another one, which Tony Romo called out, a 30-yard throw to Stephon Diggs that was a freaking rope that made no sense.
No, there's not a lot of duos in the NFL that can make that throw and catch.
He said it perfectly too. He's like, there's not a lot of humans on earth who can do what he just did, and both of them are on the field tonight. The 2 guys who can make that throw are both playing tonight.
That's it.
Come back, then another one to Khalil Shakur, a nice one up the seam where he was able to get down, take the timeout. And then here it's 22 seconds left. I kind of think maybe we're going to play for the field goal. They're at, the KC, 34. So they're still a little ways out. You're talking about a 51-yard field goal. They have 1 timeout left. So I'm sitting there going, okay, try to get another chunk of yards. Give me 10 more yards so you can take a couple shots at the end zone, but still protect for the field goal. No, Josh Allen sees Gabe Davis in single coverage, throws it down into the end zone. Gabe does a really nice tightrope up the sideline. I was nervous on replay he was going to have stepped out. Nice tightrope up the sideline, 34-yard touchdown pass, and somehow it's 10-7.
All he does is catch touchdowns versus air, dude. It's crazy. It's insane what he's able to do and how effective the deep ball to Gabe Davis from Josh Allen is. I absolutely couldn't believe they were able to score in that situation. That's just the world we live in now, Greg, where that play, and Romo pointed it out right as that play was coming. He was like, oh, look down here. You're going to have one-on-one with Gabe Davis. Are they going to test it? Yeah, they are. Like, he just saw it all happening. Like, what are you, probably one of the few spots Spags really wants back in this game. You can't leave him on an island like that in that spot with time running out. Yeah, that's just unfortunately, they got some momentum back, but if they went into the half with that being like the last play of the half, that would have just drained that whole field there.
So unfortunately, that is my Herr drive of the game, because it was amazing. 98 yards.
What a fantastic,
unbelievable, really incredible way to approach it.
Yeah, and much needed after that stretch of just no scoring. You want him to go into the half, because KC's going to get the ball. At half, or you have to get something in that spot.
So I'm sitting there going, okay, we avoided the double dip. We're okay.
Right.
There's only 16 seconds left. It's going to be totally fine. 16 seconds left. They do a squib instead of a pop-up. So the squib gets it out to the 28.
Off, 12 seconds.
4 seconds off. They're at 12 seconds. But all right, it was 12 seconds. They only have 1 timeout. They run everybody deep, and it leaves Jerick McKinnon really open. Milano can't quite get to him. Hamlin can't quite get to him. Runs for 19 yards to run out of bounds. So now it's 5 seconds left at the 47. And again, quick hit to Kelsey. They got 1 timeout. And these, I can't say, I want to say a swear word. These people, they got in position with 12 seconds again. I don't understand. How do they do this?
Well, to be fair on this one, like, I know it is going to get run with. I know articles are going to be written about that had happened again. If they lost this game, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like if they lost by a small margin here, I don't even want to
by that
know what the week would be like that. But what I will say is it was what 62 yards.
It was. Bucker hit a 62-yard field goal. If he hits a 62-yarder,
a little
God
bit
bless
of
him.
perspective. Congratulations. If you can get in range where 62 yards is a scoring drive for you, congratulations. Like that it's a different thing than I think what we're talking about with the 13 seconds necessarily. That I would not bank on that field goal going in every time. He hit that with every single bit of his life force and that thing went through, and good on him. Fantastic.
Yeah, God bless him. Good for him. I looked, my game day thread had like 112 tweets in it today, back and forth. There is a weird time gap from my response about the 98-yard touchdown drive where then I don't send any tweets for like 15 minutes. It's because I had to get up and leave the room after that 12 seconds. Like
it really bothered you?
I couldn't process the fact that there was so much time and energy and attention placed on that.
Right.
I couldn't deal with the fact of, oh my God, there is no amount of time that's too little for them to score. And I had to just walk away.
These quarterbacks are so good. They're so good. The Kansas City Chiefs, after what happened to them in that playoff game, you don't think Spagnuolo and those guys were not looking to get lit up by Gabe Davis? Like they also made plays that they have worked an entire year to make sure it didn't happen again. Like these quarterbacks are beyond whatever it is you can do to stop them. Like, and again, if it's 62 yards is what it is, if he's kicking the game tying one 62 yards, like my God, like if you've got a guy that can do that with consistency, congratulations. Like maybe that's the advantage that we don't have. And we have to go change plans again going forward. But I'm not going to get too upset about that one. Maybe I'd be singing a different tune if the game goes a different way here. It's easy for me to say in hindsight.
So let's go into the third quarter here. One of the reasons that I came to grips with it is they come back, answer with an 11-play, 51-yard drive where they get lined up and have a field goal where, of course, Jim Nett says, oh, well, it's 51 yards. This is like a chip shot now.
Yeah.
And he misses this one. So ultimately, you tell me that out of those two possessions, they get one field goal. I'm probably going to live and okay with it. So like, I'll just tell myself, all right, let's just pretend they didn't get anything before the half and they got the field goal after half and I'll live. And they're able to make it 17-10 at that, or 10-10 at that point and give the ball back. Buffalo now comes.
This would have been a good possible consideration for a drive of the game had the game not ended in another way, because they go down a couple big plays. Knox with a 20-yarder, Diggs with a 17-yarder on this play. Ends up being a 6-play, 59-yard, 3-minute drive to finally crack with a touchdown and get this game going. I think this is where, to me, the game woke up a little bit, right? You had a little bit of a hint of it with that drive at the end of the half, but the game was a pretty boring game in that first half. And I think here is where everybody started to wake up and got going a little bit.
Yeah, because unfortunately, the touchdown lead only lasted so long. The Chiefs come right back, 7-play, 83-yard drive of their own. This one again,
43-yarder to Juju's a killer, dude. The DeMar Hamlin, my guy.
Yes,
I know.
Kelsey gets a 23-yarder. He's a pain all the time, but that's going to happen. You can't let Juju Smith have two 40-yard receptions.
Yeah.
And both of them on missed tackles. DeMar Hamlin comes up, takes a bad angle, tries an ankle tackle. Just come up and make a sound tackle. That should have been like a 10 or 11-yard play. Like he should have got a first down. It should have been just a first down.
Yeah, because I forget what the coverage was.
Would have been about midfield. Looked like single high in that spot.
And he did get. It wasn't just DeMar was the only one that got beat on this play, right? Like he came up to make the play and just like you said, it was a slightly bad angle and just came just like skidding on the ground too low. Which is weird because he's been tackling well so far.
He had been playing well. So today was not a great game
not for him. No. But this one was, to me, the most frustrating one. And I took my L on Twitter for this one. This is a guy that I've been pounding the table on, but I was a little worried pregame. And I asked Eric, like, is this the game where some of that inexperience gets exposed? Like, because this is a team that if you're going to line up a guy with some inexperience, they are going to try to go after. And I think we saw a little bit of that with Sorrento.
We did the same. We did the same on our touchdown. Anytime they brought in a guy, Josh went at him. It's what a good quarterback does.
Yep. Tough day to be a DeMar Hamlin, though.
Yeah. So,
Dane
ultimately
Jackson goes down right around there.
Yeah, so that was a rough one. Obviously Benford and Elam both kind of held their own in this game. It seemed to be pretty solid. We know they're going to go to Kelsey, but they come right down, and then super similar to the Isaiah McKenzie play earlier. This time, Miko Hardman sits down in the soft spot, is able to position himself, even
good
though
coverage.
Elam had good coverage. He was
good
right
coverage.
there.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, just a perfect throw, and Hardman positions himself to kind of box out to make the catch. KC ties it up 17-17. I was feeling pretty good after the touchdown drive. Bills get the ball back, touchdown drive, 2 straight touchdown drives. Feel like they had something rolling.
This one was terrible.
Yeah, they get the ball here.
What was fun about the start of this drive, though, you had Sweeney and Gilliam back to back, like a 7 and an 11-yard play. I was like getting excited, like, oh, this could be like one of those weird fun drives that we talk about later, right? But then it wasn't fun at all.
It was some good play calls. They had some interesting things going, and then again we get into this weird spot where I felt like Singletary had a chance to be able to run for it and be in a good spot. And they set it up. I think this was an aggressive play call, but I don't think you want to be in a position where you're punting the ball back to KC when you're at midfield on 4th and 3 or shorter. So I think this was about as aggressive as we've seen McDermott be in these positions. So I support going for it, but this was a borderline one where I at least would have understood if they punted after you lost the 2 yards from 3rd and 1 back to 4th and 3. I like it that they went for it, but man, during this bye week, do we need to work on our short yardage package?
Yeah, and I think it was just, for me, I don't know what the analytics said on whether or not to go for it. What did the Baldwin bot say?
It was about a 50-50.
50-50.
It was not
okay.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 play.
I think then you got to kind of go with your gut, and just to me, the feel hasn't been performing. I felt like they should have punted as soon as, like you said, as soon as that was a tackle for loss. It was like, oh man, like if you draw even, if it's 4th and 1 and you just ended up back at the line of scrimmage, let's roll it out. But yeah, 4th and 3, I want to see it punted. What's really frustrating to me is obviously I think we ended up here in the 4th quarter too.
Correct. This flipped over to the 4th quarter here. And you could tell this play was supposed to be a quarterback draw. Josh was planning to run the ball here, and they were just going to run the secondary off deep to give him room.
Right. What Romo said too, it's almost like predetermined, right, that you're going to go on this play. My biggest frustration in this drive is Josh had completed 12 completions in a row and ended up doing 13 completions in a row, which was his career high for completions in a row at the time. And you took the ball out of his hands and give it to Singletary, where you ended up losing it on that 3rd and 1. Like when a guy is dealing like that, if you're throwing 13 completions in a row, like I don't care what you think. You want to add some physicality to the game. Like you don't take the ball out of that guy's hand in that big of a play. We know 3rd down's a big down. Like even if it's a run play, that guy's dealing in the moment, keep the ball in his hand. And I felt like giving the ball to Singletary really killed the momentum. And then the decision after that was like, you've already lost the momentum in that drive. Just give it up, give your defense a chance.
Yeah. Again, this one, I'm pretty aggressive in these situations. I want to go all the time. This one I would have understood if they punted.
I just wrote a curse word in my giant red marker for negative plays here.
Yeah,
I've never done that.
Yeah,
so I was not happy.
Now we go back. The Chiefs get the ball here. Don't have a very pretty drive. This is a weird one where we started to see the penalties start to add up. This one we saw they went to Kelsey. They went right back to Kelsey on a 31-yarder that they called for
the PI.
A pretty iffy offensive pass. He extended his arm. His
arm
was all the way out.
Greg,
this is ticky-tack. It was.
We got to talk about him exactly as we would talk
just
about
like Gabe Davis, where I said he had his hands on the outside of where he was.
Ticky-tack.
So I guess technically where that's ticky-tack. Kelsey extended his arm. I would be livid if Dawson
ultimately it doesn't impact the game, but I would be pissed if you took away an explosive like that. That was a big play, dude. To come back and punch him right in the mouth after giving up a score, like that's how you get back in a game and take it over. To get that play back was massive.
Yeah, and this one again, to go back to Kelsey again here.
Cam Lewis comes in at this point. Benford gets hurt right here.
Sketchy.
Do not want to see Cam Lewis playing.
So this moment, I almost feel like broke Leslie Frazier. Like the 3 straight plays to Kelsey just broke him, because all of a sudden now we started bringing more pressure.
Yeah.
And like we saw more blitzes
like,
than we had earlier. And he's like, enough of this crap. Yeah. All right, fine. And we started to see pressure. Some of it was simulated where it was we brought a different 4 and dropped other guys. Some of it was actual blitzes.
Yeah. Some of it was waves like Eric had talks about.
Yeah. The box score is going to show incomplete, short pass for a loss, scramble for 3, but this was still pressure. You know, breaking up those 3 plays, getting them to 4th and 10.
There was that one,
forcing them to kick a field goal.
Yeah, this is that one drive where it was Mahomes had pulled some of that magic. Vaughn had his hands on him. I think Jordan Phillips got hands on him, and he was just like,
touched him.
They both touched him, and he was slipping around. I was like, God, I've seen this too many times, but then like nothing was there. I can't wait to go on the all 22 and see what the footage was downfield on that play, because it felt like forever on that one, and then Vaughn comes back up out of nowhere and ends up making the tackle for a short gain on that one. What a crazy! You thought for sure. I thought that was going to be one of these absolute magic. Mahomes pulls it out of nowhere.
Yeah, it certainly felt like it. He scrambled around forever, so thank God they got him down. They get the field goal there, which felt kind of like a win in the moment.
Win.
All right,
big win.
17-20. We get the ball back. The Bills get a nice run for Singletary right off the bat again. They try to go back to it, and this was actually like one of the first good defensive run defense plays they had. Frank Clark blew it up in the backfield. Then we get an incomplete, and now we're at 3rd and 10. We're like, all right, I mean, we need to convert here. This was
egregious.
One of the more egregious missed calls. I mean, this is like right there with that NFC Championship game, defensive pass interference, where like
a huge moment.
This is right in front of you. In a key moment.
What's the timestamp on that? It's like 4 minutes, 6 minutes?
7. It felt weirder. It was actually 7 minutes left, or 8.5 at that point. So probably like right at 8-minute mark.
Still,
8-minute mark.
3rd down, dude.
3rd and 10, right in front of you. Two marquee players. I guess this is Josh Allen. This isn't something that happened to Mitch Trubisky.
No.
This is Josh Allen, and it is a blatant trip that Josh Allen knew he got tripped in the moment
and knew that it was illegal. You cannot do this.
Stretch his leg out to trip him, and the referee was like from me to you away on the screen. Like we're this far away.
Nope.
It was one of the most unbelievable misses I've ever seen. Like to end a drive when, hey, if he does, and it's one of those things where this wasn't like, oh man, it would have saved us. If he doesn't trip him, Josh Allen runs into the 30 yards of open grass that's over there and runs for the first down. Yeah. Like it was either call the trip because that's a first down, or if he doesn't illegally trip him, Josh runs for the first down. Either play would have been fine.
Yeah. Just a tough day for the officiating crew. They really, at times in the game, made it about them, which you just hate to see. And this is that moment. This could have been, again, another moment that we spent a lot more time on this post-game show had hit, really reared its head and ended up causing them to lose. Because this is the kind of play, this is the kind of no call that changes a complete momentum in a game. I can't believe... I was a little worried Josh was going to get called for saying something in that moment. He was like so
literally
hot.
Was playing keep away with the ball. He wouldn't give the ball to the ref.
And I was worried like there's going to be like, all right, now you're done. Because we know Josh is hot and the things Josh says to other players.
I'm going to laugh. Deion Hawkins asking a good play here that Chris Jones is not going to get flagged, but is going to get fined for being in there.
Cool. It's going to be minimal. It's not. He's not going to care.
We're going to take a pause for a minute here. William Swan with a great point. There's 1,000 people in here watching this show right now, and we
appreciate all you.
Far too few likes. So we're going to pause for a minute. Just give you. I want you guys to miss anything. Take a second. Go press the like button. Okay. All right. Good. Glad you guys had time to go do that. We appreciate you very, very much. Now it gets back to now I'm nervous. So now I'm like, oh, that we're going to remember that one forever. We're going to be talking about the missed tripping hold forever. We gave them back the ball.
Now they're going to go up 2 scores, right?
They're going to go up 2 scores. They're going to end it here. You know, they're going to go back up. We give them the ball 7.5 minutes left. This is going to be it. And, you know, this with no better example.
Alien.
You know, Patrick Mahomes completion to Travis Kelce, run to Jerick McKinnon, 3rd and 6, obvious passing down. Von Miller with a gorgeous ghost move, dips the shoulder,
monster,
just goes underneath it and just houses Patrick Mahomes before he can do anything on a gorgeous drive ending sack. I mean, that is, I don't think that Nance and Romo were awesome today, but Romo talking about the closer nickname and talking about that's why you were brought here. This play literally is why Von Miller was brought here.
Yes. Also
literally
replicating it in January, but yes, this
I'll give that back.
In these moments,
that quarterback, that play
in these moments. Yeah.
This is exactly why we paid him $120 million. Like that
Don't
was
blink,
it.
baby. Don't blink. That's the spot, man. That's what these were the spots in the past where the Bills blinked. Vaughn knew what he was doing bringing that quote in here. He knows the history that the Bills have had, getting them ready for these moments. And this is great because it shows him that he is up to these moments. The team can trust him.
He has
that
not
he's
lost
make those
even
plays.
a little bit of a step.
Yes,
not even a little.
Every word he says even has so much more weight when he's going out and doing the things like this. So this is why you bring him in. Games. Yeah, big game changing for people that don't believe in momentum, man. It's a tough day for you when stuff like this happens.
So I'll step back here because rightfully this is also a glorious opportunity for an Uncle Jumbo's drive of the game. Or West Herr drive of the game.
West Herr, do not drive with Uncle Jumbo's. We do not
sorry, that
condone that at all, actually.
I almost had that completely backwards.
That would be the responsible play of the game later on. This one was a fantastic drive. They get into the short yardage early in this drive. A 3rd and 1, don't get it. They get the 4th in inches. They end up getting
their own 33.
Ballsy. That's game over.
Yeah.
If you don't get that 4th down, that's it. Game over. It's a wrap. They're going to score points.
That was with 3:44 left. They went for it on 4th and 1 of their own 33.
I love this new sneak with Gabe Davis coming out
the
from
Gabe
behind.
Davis motion shove play.
Yeah, I'm cool with adding a tight end to do that too. Like, let's get in on that.
Sweeney
At
can do
some
that.
point, are we gonna see like a trick play with giving the ball to Davis out of there? Like,
sneaky.
I don't know. Probably a bad spot to do that, but I do like that. And then you get a big 3rd down conversion to Diggs. They cross the 50 with about 2 minutes, just about 2 minutes. They start to cross the 50. So you're feeling pretty good at this point, right? You see the little field goal range thing inside.
Yeah, the 18
I think you still had your 3 timeouts, I think, going into this 2 minutes.
Yep.
And you're moving the ball. So my mindset here is like, bare minimum here, we can tie this game, right? Like we can, the worst case scenarios, we can get in range, tie this thing and head into overtime. Let's just be careful with the ball. Allen takes a QB designed run, 16 yards. NFL
leaps over another Kansas City Chief.
NFL all-time leader in QB hurdles rate. Absolutely 100% QB hurdle rate still to this day. We've never seen anything like this, guys. It's like it's crazy because I think we just kind of like laugh and like, oh, we did it again. Like, I think we're losing sight of how hard that is in a real NFL game, especially with guys that this has been on tape now. Like, guys in real locker rooms don't want to be the guy that is all over social media on Monday getting hurled by Josh Allen and all over GMFB with Kyle Brandt just laughing at you at the round table. Like, guys pride themselves on this. So when Josh Allen's running out, like, and he's coming your way, they're trying everything they can to not be embarrassed, and he continues to do it on a weekly basis. Is absolutely unbelievable, making plays, willing this team to victory. And then you end this drive with a 14-yard touchdown to Dawson Knox, his first touchdown of the year, an absolute dime where only Dawson Knox can get this ball. Ends up being a 12-play, 76-yard drive, takes 4 minutes and 27 seconds off the clock. Absolutely perfect way to take the lead in this game, Greg, except for the fact that they left like a minute and 4 seconds left on the clock. Like, this drive was almost perfect. If they could have just taken a 30, 40 more seconds, I would have felt more comfortable. Like, I'm not still scared of the 13 seconds. I know that's in people's head, but a minute is a legitimate drive for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, one more completion where they don't go out. Like, if Josh makes his run and stays in,
because he had the timeouts too. Yeah.
And you were able to then run 40 seconds off there where it goes from 153 down to 113, and then they run the play, and you either force Kansas City to use their timeout or the other way around, and you're able to go there. But either way, we're nitpicking.
Yes. I had to pick it
still. I mean, you're still talking about a 12-play, 76-yard game-winning touchdown drive. This is a phenomenal drive. And asking for us to go from 427 to making it a 6-minute drive to run all the clock off is probably asking a little much.
I'm old enough to remember when people said the Buffalo Bills couldn't win one-score games.
We are 2-0 in every one-score game over the past 16 days
since we started talking about it.
2-0.
This is and it's just fun too, because again, Coward. I don't care about power rankings, but Colin Coward came out and said the reason he had the Kansas City Chiefs over the Bills is because Josh Allen doesn't win these
kinds of games.
He doesn't come back in the fourth quarter and win a game. So this big fourth quarter comeback is just another gem in the notch of the King's crown that is Josh Allen's, and another fourth quarter comeback win. Fantastic for him. So I had to give that one to him, courtesy of West Herr. Love those guys.
So another one, going to flip over the other way. Our Uncle Jumbo's responsible play here. You know, now we're talking about, okay, Leslie, it happened last year. It happened at the end of the first half. Now we are in full, need to make a play mode. What are you going to do? How are you going to approach this? I like the way that they came out. They came out with kind of the muddled approach, where it's a 3-man rush, but with a spy. But when you're doing a 3-man rush and the 3 guys are Ed Oliver, Gregory Rousseau, and Von Miller, you can still get home in a spot like that. And being able to be in that spot, they rush around there, they get there. Matt Milano comes up to make a play. They force Mahomes out into an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's making an off-platform throw, sees Sky Moore and actually had him there, but did not see Taron Johnson coming
saw
from
that
behind.
Play from a mile away.
Oh, look at the sign behind you. Look at the sign behind you.
I love this guy, man. What a break on the ball. Aggressive at the point of attack. And they reviewed it, but that was just sure.
Had his hands underneath it. It was perfect.
Absolutely sure.
No chance to be able to pull
it. Was a Von Miller interception, though.
Yes. Yeah, but like I said, the fact that Von Miller's box score only shows 2 sacks and 2 tackles for a loss is a crime.
Yeah. Don't take away. I'm not going to take away from
stats to come out.
I don't want to take away from the play Taron Johnson made, because that's an incredible play and a big moment. He catches that, like, my anxiety's through the roof if Sky Moore catches that, and who knows, breaks a tackle, and who knows what happens in that play. For him to come up and make that play and just seal the game right there, it just goes to show you how far he's come.
If Sky Moore gets that, you're probably talking about something around midfield, and they're probably around midfield with like 50, 48 seconds left in a timeout.
Maybe it's a thing. Maybe Taron Johnson's just a clutch game closer. In big time moments. Couple now for the career. So
appreciate. Make sure you're checking out our friends over at West Herr and at Uncle Jumbo's. They're both fantastic, and it's now we can breathe. The Bills have gone through a gauntlet of a first 6 games. They've somehow gone through this with
Greg. We were saying 3-3 would be okay.
Remember that Super conversation? Bowl champs, last year's number 1 seed. One of the favorites for this year's Super Bowl because of how injury rattled they were last year. A team that beat us last year in the opener last year, and then the team that beat us in the playoffs and knocked us out. Yeah. And they
only thing that beat us was freak heat.
Yeah, the only loss the Bills have this year is to the 120-degree temperature down on the field that literally caused like 16 players to have heat stroke.
Yeah.
The Bills are going into the bye 5-1, a desperately needed bye.
Getting Trey White back,
I don't know for sure today. I don't think that they had anybody else get injured. I didn't see.
We saw some guys getting dinged.
Dane Jackson had to go out. Benford had to go out. Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown is the one that we need to check on after this to see where it was.
Down a cart.
And walked off. I'd like to think 2 weeks off with the bye week is probably reasonable for him to be able to come back there. But I will say, David Questenberry is exactly what we signed. That's exactly what we went for. He is a capable swing tackle and a guy to be able to come in. So
probably better depth than most teams in a spot like that. You know what I mean? To have that happen. But yeah, I could see maybe some early when we get back, massaging of some of the needing treatments when everybody gets back next week. But the beautiful thing about that is we got some time to worry about and massage some injuries. But the way this defense is playing and this record for this team, everybody's talking about getting a OBJ or a Christian McCaffrey, but they're about to insert an all-pro cornerback back into this defense, Greg. I'm not saying he's going to be back to Trey White playing at an all-pro Trey White level, but this is an upgrade. 75% Trey White's a huge upgrade. You're adding at least a Pro Bowl caliber talent to this defense. I mean, this is unfair. This could get unfair.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I will take a quick side note. Watching Isaiah McKenzie today, I'm 100% okay with OBJ coming aboard. I'm 100% good with anybody who tries to tell me, "Oh, we don't need him." Yeah, we do. It would be totally fine. He could play a whole bunch of snaps as our, wherever you want to fit him as one of the receivers there. I like Khalil Shakir. I'm excited about the future there. I'm very okay with signing Odell Beckham Jr.
I am totally, honestly, like, and this will be a conversation we'll probably have to have another day.
Yeah, something
Even when it comes to the
maybe.
conversation about running backs, I'm okay having some of these guys like a Shakir, James Cook wait a little bit of time while we go on a Super Bowl run, and I want proven production from guys. Like, give me that. And then if OBJ comes in and isn't working out, well, then cool, we still have Khalil Shakir. Like, too much of a good thing, in my opinion, is not bad when you're talking about football depth.
Another good one from John here. He
always thank you for the support, John, by the way.
Beat Stafford, Lamar Jackson, and Mahomes on the road.
Yeah.
Road wins, 2 of those big conference wins. They're now sitting there at 5-1 in, or 4-1 in conference. Really good one there.
Yeah.
And appreciate you very much.
In control. Yeah. JC always also very supportive. Appreciate you, man. I mean, Sean McDermott constantly talks about controlling your controllables, right? Outside of that, the one loss they had is they couldn't control the Heat in Miami, right? Everything else they've been able to control the game ahead of them and keep that focus. And I think, the veteran leadership they brought in Von Miller and knowing what's ahead of them in this season, it is all leaning towards them living in the moment in each moment. That's why you're seeing the progress to where they're at this moment. The big takeaway for me at this point going into a bye one, I was pissed about having a bye week this early in the season. Now I'm very happy that the Bills get to rest a little bit after this start, dude. And the other thing is that throughout all this and moments of dominance, they've dominated more quarters than they haven't. There's so much meat on the bone in every single one of these games. There's so much improvement to still be made going in. And in that locker room, in this bye week, the self-scouting that they're doing is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see what comes out of the self-scouting that we see here throughout the
Absolutely. Bye. Absolutely. It was it's the perfect kind of mold where you get the kind of ugly win that gives Sean McDermott enough, stuff to complain about and to do it, but you still get W's.
You still win the big one on the road.
Yeah.
Grind out a close one. It's a big win for the coaching staff.
He's able to hand out his humble pie and make guys feel it in film study, but during a W, it's absolutely perfect. And these guys have earned a nice break here in the during the bye, but ultimately they're in a great spot going forward. And, we're going to be really excited. We're going to spend some time here over the bye, maybe bringing in some national guests to be able to look more into the future and think about, where things are rolling here, some big picture stuff, maybe even about whether we need to make any transactions or whether we can just roll with the fantastic, talented roster that we have here.
Or maybe some changes in how we thought about maybe some guy, Gabe Davis, having a big season with a contract looming, some guys out there having Tremaine Edmonds, another guy having a big season with some contract looming. Maybe a good time to pause and talk about some of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So some really, really fun stuff. Quick shout out to my daughter who made me the good luck bracelet. She's
fantastic.
Super excited about that.
That's really nice.
Yeah, she did an awesome job, made it, and the Bills are now 2-0 since I've been wearing this bracelet.
Awesome. So. Well, you can never take that off.
Obviously, never.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts here as we step away? The Buffalo Bills are 5-1. The Buffalo Bills have the best scoring differential in the NFL by a boatload. They are heading into the bye and are now going to be getting themselves healthy and ready, coming back against, honestly, a Green Bay team that's probably not quite as formidable as what we thought they were.
Live,
they got housed by the Jets today. So
also the Jet, we might have to have a conversation about the Jets here soon. A little bit.
Our next 2 games are the Packers and the Jets, and they're both probably
different than we thought.
Different
games than we thought for sure. My only thing that I want to close on here is that everybody should go and sign up for Cover One.
Aaron, tell the people why it costs $57.
Because the Bills are never been primed to make a run at a Super Bowl like they have been to run to Super Bowl 57 this year, and it hasn't looked better. I felt a little silly saying that, to be honest, to start the season, because I was like, man, they could be 3-3 at the bye, and people are going to be mad at us for running this ad and saying Super Bowl 57. But now look at us in control, ready to run, take that 1 seed and run to the Super Bowl. So here, come in, join up. Greg talks about it all the time. Really, this is, people ask us constantly, how can they help out with Cover One outside of stopping and pausing and liking this video, because that's free. You don't even have to do anything. The other thing you can do here monetarily is subscribe. It helps us keep the staff going, keep all the subscriptions and things that help us to deliver the type of content that you've come to expect out of Cover One. This is the way that we keep the lights on here and help to bring you the content that you like. In exchange for that money, you get exclusive members only content, in-depth analysis, including scheme, play, player breakdowns, scouting reports and analytics, access to access on unlimited devices, access to our Cover One community, which is our Slack channel. Fantastic. Awesome. That thing is going to be going all night tonight. If you want to enjoy a victory, there's no better place than our Cover One Slack channel, where you also have access to all the Cover One contributors, and they're all throughout the week getting ready for the game, behind the scenes content. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a really sexy shirt right here and a decal that you'll get for being a member of Cover One One Pass Club access. So, Greg, that was the piece that I wanted to leave people with, because it's important. You know, we do a lot of work here to keep the lights on and keep going, and that really helps us in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. And it takes a lot of investment to do what we do. We have to pay for sponsorships, and we have to pay for logins to different websites and buy equipment and do things. And when you guys help me support that, I can do this, and I can buy more stuff for my shelf. So
that's not, don't listen to Greg. None of this is actually, this were all gifted to him from other people. All right, cut him off, get him out of here.
So I did move everything behind me here. So obviously got to keep that going too. Yes. I redid my whole shelf. I even have like little lights behind me here, trying to get fancy.
It is fancy.
This was awesome. The chat was amazing tonight. You guys were so unbelievable. We now get 2 weeks to bask in the glow of being the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
We oh yeah, there we go. Mike wearing the shirt right now. You know, it's unbelievable. Soak in all the content that you can. Listen to all the shows. We'll go watch the Patriots and their newfound quarterback controversy.
I am gonna beat over the bye week the narrative of the Patriots quarterback controversy.
This is gonna be so fun.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
I can't wait. Yeah. So, you know, so many fun things that you can do. Make sure you're checking out all the content here at Cover One. We have a ton of really good stuff going on. Everybody going to be breaking things down. Awesome shows all week long. Aaron, any final thoughts for the people?
Yeah, like you said, just make sure you're following everybody, all the individual content creators, Cover One across all your social media platforms. We're constantly evolving in the way that we're doing content. So you're going to want to make sure to be catching on, because we're going to just try to deliver it to you as many different ways as we can. And this bye week's going to be a much more fun one than the 3-3 we were kind of hanging out thinking that this could possibly be. Now you're going in as like you said, the best team in the NFL. And now we have a week to really just kind of sit back and self-scout and kind of embrace and savor that moment as we go forward here, hopefully to a nice run to a Super Bowl.
So I'm going to end with two good ones here. Taryn Big Game Johnson, and I like Lee's idea. I'm going to call and see if we get Nick Wright to come on the show and ask him if he still thinks this win's no big deal.
You don't GT unless you ask, man. Go ask him.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. The chat was awesome tonight. Everything here has just been so much fun. You guys were listening to this because the Buffalo Bills have gone into Arrowhead to defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 24-20. On behalf of Aaron Quinn, I am Greg Tompsett. You've been listening to Cover One Buffalo, and we are out.